Happy April, everyone. Everyone's drowsy power. There is a little boo-boo on this though. Darkrai will appear. The unfortunate truth is that, hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Pokemon Sleep. This is day 2 of the Cresselia versus Darkrai event. Let's go straight into the sleep research and see if anything cool shows up. So I hope day 1 has been fruitful for everyone. For me, it was okay. It was pretty good. I was struggling a little bit on the ingredients just to get everything for my salads, but I think we'll be better today. Surprisingly, my Quaxquavel has been collecting a lot of leaks, and usually that isn't the case. On top of that, because of the buffs for the psychic type Pokemon, it has been really nice to see my Gardevoir perform a little better than it usually does. So I'm getting a taste of what could be, you know, the potential. We got a Munna there. I really want to catch that. Let's see what else. Oh, we got a Routes. I really want to get that as well. We will see what we get. There's also a Ditto, a rock formed Ditto. So I have one bonus Biscuit, and because of the shop reset, since it's a new month, happy April everyone. It's a new month, so the shop resetted and we're able to purchase new items. So that means I'm able to use my diamonds to purchase 3 more Ultra Biscuits, and that would be a guaranteed catch for Pokemon that require 5 points. Munna is so cute. I forget how cute this is. So that is the final sleep style that I needed. So pretty good that we unlocked that. And as you could see, that gave us 11 Cresselia main. Alright, so I will give my... Let's go to the shop. Let's purchase, go to diamonds here. Alright, so I seem to be in a little bit of a pickle because for me the shop will not update until 32 minutes, and I need to do my sleep research right now. So it seems like what we will do is we will give the bonus biscuit to Munna, and then we will give 2 Poke Biscuits. Actually, it seems like Munna really wanted to go home with us. So they ate the cookies and they were super satisfied. I'm very, very happy about that. We're only going to need to plop 2 biscuits onto this route, and then we'll be able to catch that. And that should be it. And this is the second cookie, and we are now at friendship level 22. All right, looking good. Let's finish up our sleep research and let's rate and judge these Pokemon. I will put Munna as a portrait so that everyone can get the berries. Sorry, not the berries. So everyone can get the candies. And as you can see right here, top right, under change photo, we got 48 Cresselia down, which is really good. And as I mentioned in the previous video, Pokemon that aren't psychic type will also give you Cresselia down. However, psychic type Pokemon will give you a little more. So in comparing, you'll see the route, it's a 4-star, it gave me 7 Cresselia down, compared to the Weeping Bell, which is a 2-star, which gave me 6. So psychic types do give you more. So make sure to use your psychic type incenses if you have them. I don't have any, so I should have saved them. I got a little too excited during the psychic type week. Alright, and it is a Brave nature. Oh, that's actually very good. Brave is a speed of help up, experience down. So I think, well, it depends if you're okay with having experience down. Let's see if it'll have berry finding. At level 10 it does not. It is double honey, and let's see, it is sleep bonus exp. That's not the gold skill I wanted. We've got inventory up M and L and energy recovery bonus at the end. Alright, so it's not ideal in terms of sub skills. However, it is the only speed of help up anything I have out of the pool of Munnas I've caught. So I might be using this for a little bit, but I'm pretty limited on candy, so might have to second guess that decision. Now for the route, it is a quirky nature. I forget what quirky is, but it is apples and corn and apple. We've got helping speed, ingredient finding, energy recovery bonus at level 10. Inventory up. I don't even want to continue because it's already not as good as the one I have now. So the one I have now is skill trigger S&M, but oh, what's happening here? Everyone's drowsy power is combining. Everyone's drowsy power has combined and weakened Darkrai's power slightly. Ooh, that's cool. Okay, so we see over here personal drowsy power that came directly from my sleep, and then the global drowsy power is calculated by taking the average of everyone's personal drowsy power, I believe, and that combined together will give us the event drowsy power. There is a little boo-boo on this though, so we'll cover this a little later. But what I can say about this, because this has been a topic of confusion, I believe, believe for some people. I mean, if I've felt confused about it, I think it's fair to say it has been confusing for others, but we are not all going to share the same event Drowsy power. The only thing that is the same is the global Drowsy power that's added to our event Drowsy power. So you might notice if you're comparing event Drowsy power to people that you play with that it might be a little different, and that is because of the personal Drowsy power. So if you are performing very well and you are very good at the game, then you will get a advantage compared to other people. But it is thanks to whales like you guys that we get a pretty good global Drowsy power to be added onto our personal Drowsy power. So don't forget to thank the whales, everyone. Thank the whales and thank the pros. So we got 30 Cresselia down from that, which is great. So I think I'm able to now purchase an incense and a cookie. So maybe by tomorrow I'll be able to purchase my third cookie, and then I'll be able to do the hunt for Cresselia. But we got 100% sleep score, which is great. Let us pick up our berries. And I am at Ultra 2 now, I believe. Yes, I am at Ultra 2. And before you swap out your team, make sure you always collect the ingredients. You know what? I tend to be very good at not forgetting to do this. However, last week I accidentally did that and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so unlike me. So yeah, sometimes you still need that reminder. I was in a rush to swap out my Pokemon because I was doing syncing and I needed to regen some other Pokemon's energy. But in doing so, I missed out my entire morning dump of berries and ingredients, and that was so painful. That was super painful. Let's take a look at the shop. Let's redeem one of our incenses. I thought that I would be able to get a biscuit. Not yet. Maybe after we do our community research. But this is not the team I want to feed or have breakfast with. So let's switch it out to our... Oh, that's not it. Is it salad team? Wait, I'm on curry. I think I'm on curry. Wait, no, I'm on salad. I just don't remember why I have that Magnezone out. Weird. Yeah, that is really odd, guys. I have no recollections of ever putting my Ollie there. But let's do the ninja salad. We're going to plop in some apples. So I have an ingredient problem that goes two ways. First, the ingredients that I want for salad week are not dropping as frequently as I want to from some of my Pokemon. The other thing is I'm collecting a lot of ingredients overnight from my berry farming team that I do not need either. So it's a lot of dumping out of those ingredients, swapping some things around. But the good thing is that that breakfast brought us up to Ultra 3, which is good. I forget when Cresselia starts to show up, so I'm gonna plop this little infographic here that I pulled from our Discord. Thank you to Oscar for sharing this with us. But you can expect to find Cresselia when you have these numbers. All right, so I need mushroom, beans, and ginger. I'm doing pretty good with... Actually, no. I need to swap out my entire team. Alright, so this is what the squad is looking like. We've got our leek farmer, mushroom farmers, and I decided to use my Pupitar to farm bean and ginger instead of my other bean farming Pokemon because, I don't know, he doesn't perform really well, to be honest. And I'm hoping that I can also get ginger from this. Alright, so I have our Discord over here. Thank you so much to Call Me Deebs for always sharing these sorts of news with us. I really appreciate you, and I'm sure the community appreciates you as well. But there is a malfunction about the global Drowsy power going on, and this is how they're going to deal with it. So regarding the ongoing Cresselia vs Darkrai event, we have discovered an error in the everyone's sleepy power calculation system, causing the everyone's sleepy power value on the first day of the event to be smaller than the actual value. So the incorrect number is 27 million, but the correct number is actually 58 million. To address this issue, we will be adding the shortfall on the first day of the event to the everyone's sleepy power on the second day of the event to calculate the total. So you're going to see quite the bump tomorrow. In addition, the everyone's sleepiness power calculation system has been corrected and will now be calculated using the correct value. So this is the example that they provided us. Everyone's sleepiness power on the third day of the event, which will be tomorrow, April 2nd, will be the sum of everyone's sleepiness power on the second day of event, which is today, April 1st, plus the average sleepiness power of users worldwide on the first sleep day of the event, which was March 31st. We apologize for any inconvenience caused to our customers and thank you for your continued support. I was hoping to see like, I don't know, a sorry gift or something because I'm so used to it from Pokemon Sleep, you know? Who knows, maybe they will, like they did previously in another event, and they gave us an incense, I believe, because there was a sleep style issue for some people, either for Entei or Raikou, Raikou? I think it was Raikou. But yeah, that's pretty unfortunate that there's an error on the first day, but I mean, things like this tend to happen, right? Oh, and it seems like my Snorlax decided to power up while we were reading that. We are now at Ultra 4. So it seems like we're going to be hitting Master 1 today, which is really great news for us in terms of progress. Let's take a look over here. As you see here, the global is what is coined as everyone's sleepy power from the information I just read earlier, and personal is directly from me. I also want to address a little bit of confusion that I've had. So I was under the impression that Darkrai, we may or may not see it, okay? But then after looking at some previous news that the game has released about the event when it first was in discussion, it made it pretty clear that Darkrai was going to show up in the event, Cresselia and Darkrai. As you can see in this little screenshot over here, it says that further information regarding Cresselia and Darkrai will be released as the event approaches. We've definitely seen information about Cresselia. We haven't seen anything about Darkrai, so that's probably going to be reserved for later this week so that early next week everyone understands what's going to happen, because there has been speculations that Darkrai will appear when people start reaching rank 13, 14, 15, 16. Yada yada. And as you can see, rank 13 isn't something that you can reach unless it is week 2. So if that is the case, it seems like week 1 will be reserved for Cresselia catches, and then week 2 would be your opportunity to encounter and catch Darkrai. Now I have mixed feelings about this because I do feel it's a little overwhelming, especially for new players to know what the best decision is. Even as a longtime player like myself, I'm like, wow, this is pretty suffocating. I not only have to deal with managing my cookies and doing all of this in order to get incenses and cookies to catch Cresselia, but now I have to worry about that for Darkrai too. The thing is, I don't think there's going to be an incense for Darkrai, or maybe who knows, there will be. But if they do, then how is that going to work out for the type of main or down that they will require in order to get that event item, right? So there's that. And then on top of that, it's accumulating points to get biscuits as well to catch it, under the assumption that Darkrai will require biscuits to catch it. So now you're scrambling around for points to look for biscuits. If not, you're using master biscuits, but then you're deciding, do I want a really good Darkrai or do I want a really good Cresselia? And really good is not always guaranteed either, because the stats are random. So I don't know, what do you guys think about it? It seems like from what I've seen on Reddit, people are leaning more towards the idea that Darkrai will be available starting from rank 13. And if we take a look at this, it kind of does make sense, to be honest. But the other part of me is like, no. I mean, I would appreciate a little cameo, maybe a little like, if it's hard to catch during those events, knowing that later on there's going to be a separate island and we're going to have another Darkrai event, I think I'd be more content with that. But there's just something about how limited and exclusive this little time period is to catch a Darkrai that makes it feel like, I don't know, it just makes it feel like I'm not going to get to do everything I want to do. And then at that point, it makes it feel like Darkrai is more elusive, because Cresselia is a legendary Pokemon, but Darkrai is actually only a mythical Pokemon, despite them being in mirror islands of each other and everything. Yeah, they're not both legendaries, only Cresselia is a legendary. And I think this becomes more of a bigger issue for newer players who don't have a well-structured team, just to the nature of not having enough time to catch everything on time and like level everything up. For veteran players, this might not be so much of an issue. For Wills, definitely not. I mean, day 2 of week 2, you're probably already going to get to event rank 13 and you're probably already gonna encounter Darkrai. In fact, I've already seen one person in our Discord who has encountered Cresselia, which congratulations, by the way. But yeah, for other players, this might seem kind of unmotivating. I think that's the best word to describe it. But yeah, what do you guys think about this? All right, so let's pick up our sleep points. We got 100 score on our sleep. Well, our Snorlax did. I didn't. And for our daily lotto, let's see what we get. We've got Dream Cluster. You know what? I'll take that. I'm pretty low on Dream Clusters or Dream Shards right now. And for new players, hold on to your Dream Clusters unless you really need to use them to level up Pokemon, because the higher level you are, your account level, the higher level it is, the more that you get when you redeem your Dream Clusters. So just to give you an example, if you compare your amount to my amount, I'm at rank 60 right now for my account. And if I redeem a Dream Cluster S, I will be able to get 2,498 Dream Shards. Alright, so we picked up our event mission rewards, bottom left, and we have enough main to now pick up a biscuit. So I now have 2 in my inventory. I need 1 more, and then we are ready to catch that Cresselia, which we will be using a Master Biscuit to do because the sooner the better. Compared to the previous events where legendary dog trios didn't contribute to the overall power of your Drowsy power, this time the Cresselia does. If you have your Cresselia with you and you sync it with your sleep, then it will bump up your sleep score by 1.5. So remember that once you have your Cresselia, it is in your best interest to have a Cresselia on your team during the time of the sleep syncing. It doesn't have to be overnight, it just needs to be on the team while you are syncing your sleep into the game. So catch it as soon as possible. And a reminder for you guys, should I use a Master Biscuit or should I use Cresselia biscuits? If it's not hungry, use your Master Biscuit so that you can get it ASAP and you can reap the benefits of bumping up your Drowsy power for all your sleeps moving forward. If it's hungry, use your Cresselia biscuit. That will give you 18 points and you only need to use 2 more Cresselia biscuits to catch it. And that's if it doesn't get full after the first biscuit, because they tend to get full pretty quickly. If you're watching my video on day 2 of the event and you haven't seen my day 1 where I go through all of these stuff that you should take note of, please feel free to watch yesterday's video. Alright, and now it's time for our yap session. So you know the drill. It is time for our little cheers with my latte over here, my iced latte. I'm gonna give it a good stir. Look at that foamy little top. But cheers, everyone. That is happiness in a cup. All right, so let's see how everyone's doing. Let's see how many people encountered their first Cresselia. And we have got 8 Cresselia down. I make sure to periodically check the research community anytime I see a little notification that there's updates. That way I maximize my chances of getting as much Cresselia down as possible. Thank you, Gina, for the friend request. And with that, I am now at max capacity. So thank you for everyone who added me as a friend. Alright, so let's start over here. So as you guys know, I went to Vietnam last week and I had, oh see, look at that. Beautiful Cresselia. Also the sub-skill and natures are the same for the catch, the first catch for everyone. But yeah, I went to Vietnam last week. It was probably my favorite and most memorable trip to Vietnam. This is my 3rd time ever going now. Now that I'm in Asia though, I do hope that I have more opportunities to visit home or visit Vietnam more. I feel like it's a little bit of a fraud to me to call it home because I wasn't born there. Unfortunately, I don't speak the language and I don't read or write it, but I feel like a lot of third culture babies or people born to immigrant parents can relate to not being able to speak their language and feeling like they aren't 100% native of where they're born to, but they're not 100% to their ethnic roots as well. So I am Vietnamese, but I was born in Canada. And in the household, my mom did a really good job at raising us pretty Vietnamese in terms of cultures, traditions, and speaking as well. And I spoke really fluently when I was younger, actually. I would watch a lot of Vietnamese dramas with my mom. But you know, as you grow up, you become an adult, you move out, and everyone goes their separate ways. And sadly, like everything else, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? So I've gradually throughout the years forgotten my Vietnamese. I can understand it when I hear it, but speaking wise, I'm not the best. And to be honest, I'm pretty embarrassed to speak because the unfortunate truth is that when you try to speak your language to people, either some people will be very happy that you're trying at all, or other people will be so mean and criticize you for your pronunciation. And I think that is the wackiest thing about what happens when you're learning a language is that people will be so mean about the way you pronounce things. But it's like, I mean, it's amazing the fact that you're even learning a second, third, fourth language. You know what I'm saying? That's why in Canada, when I'm meeting, because I do a lot of interviews back in my job in Canada, right? So a lot of times, sometimes I'm speaking with immigrants and they would constantly apologize for their accent. And I would tell them like, no, don't apologize. The fact that you're even trying or learning the language is amazing. More so than a lot of other people. Christina, congratulations on the shiny Venusaur. So yeah, it sucks that they have to apologize, but I can see where they're coming from because they probably have met so many people that just been so rude to them. And it's like, you know what, the person that's being rude to you, how better off are they? They probably only know like one language. They're not putting in the effort to learn a second language like you are. And it's tougher to learn languages when you're older too. When you're young, kids absorb things like a sponge, so it's so much easier to obtain a second language. or even a third. So yeah, it broke my heart whenever I would interview people and they would apologize for having an accent when speaking, as if having a neutral accent is the mark of fluency or something like that. Shouldn't be the case though. So yeah, my family members will never, humiliate me for my accent, but it's just that fear of making a mistake and sounding dumb in my native language that makes it hard for me to attempt it. And I'm ashamed to say that the older I get, the more scared I am to attempt it, which is crazy. It's crazy to think how fearless you were when you're younger and how for some people that tends to dim down a little as you get older. And it sucks that that's the case. Evil Stevel, congrats on the shiny Cubone. But yeah, other than that, having the language barrier between my family and Vietnam made it a little difficult to communicate, but I've always never failed to feel their love. From the moment I step foot into the door, I just feel their love and their warmth and just their attention to detail to pick up on things just to make my time in Vietnam more comfortable. And they do that so that I would visit more often, which I find funny. Like, I would visit even if they didn't do that, to be honest. Like, what I love the most about visiting Vietnam, and my family in Vietnam lives in a very remote place far, far up north. So people probably have never heard of it, and it's really rare to see tourists go there. I think no tourist has even stepped foot there, maybe. From what I asked my cousins, I'm like, have you ever seen foreigners? And they're like, not really. But I just love how slow paced everything is, how communal everything is. If you watched When Life Gives You Tangerine, you'll understand what I mean by how like community it is, where everyone knows everyone, but not in a toxic way. And I just love it. And I would always sleep at my grandma's house, my grandpa's house when I go there. And I always have fond memories of visiting Vietnam. And my favorite thing is that we would always eat meals together, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's always a family thing. So people would, if they're working, they come home from work at lunchtime to have lunch with everyone. And then it's really common in the lunch period as well for people to take naps in Vietnam. So if you go like shopping in the afternoon, you might see people like just dozing off, which is totally normal. It also helps to avoid the hottest time of the day, which is the afternoon sun. But yeah, I just have so many fond memories and feelings that I hold when it comes to dinner time. And it's just something that we take for granted. I mean, a lot of children eat in their rooms, or you get to that age where like it's not cool to eat with your parents and then you just want to eat in your room because you want to play video games online with your friends. I was guilty of doing that growing up, but now I really value the time that I have to eat around a table with family members. And that's my number one favorite thing about going to Vietnam. It's eating meals with everyone. I love the routine of having a Vietnamese coffee in the morning. If you haven't had Café Sữa Đá, that is so delicious. It's like drip coffee with condensed milk over ice. So good. Nowadays, I've seen the Vietnamese coffee scene a lot more experimental. There's coconut coffee, which was so delicious. I tried that in Saigon, which is the south of Vietnam. It was my first time in the south of Vietnam. And it's very different from the north. It was so hot in the south, like hot like Singapore. But in the north, it was colder. So the shift in weather definitely made my body feel a little stressed. And I was getting like cracks around my lips from how dry and cold it was as well. Coconut coffee, delicious. I had egg coffee too. And you guys, if you go to Vietnam, try egg coffee. It is so good. It's this thick foam of egg that's mixed with whatever sweetness they do. And it just tastes like a dessert, a cloud dessert on top, and then you get your coffee on the bottom. So you sip it, it's sweet, it's bitter from the coffee. It's so delicious. I heard that egg coffee came from the lack of milk one time. So there was no milk supposedly at one point. So people got creative and they decided to whip up egg yolks to put in their coffee as a form of creamer or some sort. And you guys, you just really have to try it. It's so good. But the OG Café Sữa Đá, you can never go wrong with it. But I will caution you, if you are sensitive to caffeine, you might get the jitters because Vietnamese coffee is on another level of strength. Yeah, going back to my time in Vietnam with family, it was just so fun. I love the big meals that we have together, and because it's like several families under one house, we would all sit on the floor round table style on the floor. So everyone has like their rice bowl, and then you just pick from the sides that are available to you. And it was my first time my boyfriend came to visit Vietnam, and his first time visiting my family in Vietnam and everything like that too. So everyone was so nice to him. My boyfriend mentioned in the car ride to my mom that he really likes broccoli, and I think my mom conveyed that to my family members because the next day there was broccoli, and I just find that so sweet. They really wanted to make him feel like welcomed, and they also wanted to make sure he felt like he was able to eat the stuff there too. And I'm so glad that my boyfriend isn't a picky eater or isn't too judgmental on other ethnicities' foods, because he ate literally everything that they gave him, and they were really impressed. He gained a lot of brownie points because they were like, wow, he is a really good eater. So I was really happy about that. He rarely said no to anything unless it was because he was too full. And during my trip there, I was really able to connect with my younger cousins. I am the oldest of the cousins, so the last time I visited Vietnam was 10 years ago, right? So I don't think anyone remembers me because they were very, very young. I remember them, but it's crazy to hop away, come back 10 years, and it's like everyone's grown up. It's crazy. But I'm very happy to see how well they're doing and just how close-knit they are. And it feels bittersweet to witness that because I don't get to have that same bond and connection as they do, just living with each other every day and seeing each other every day. But I love that for them, that they're just so tight-knit with the family. They're always talking with each other, eating with each other. And another thing I really value is that the household chores are not exclusive to women there. So women will do majority of the cooking, but when there's a lot of things to be done, the men help out in the kitchen, which is such a great thing to see. And the men also help with setting the table or just setting the flatware down so that everyone can eat. And yeah, it's just like everyone helping each other out. Even the kids, they're taught to do that as well. And there's a lot of male cousins. So from my mom's siblings, there's only 2 girls that were born, me and my cousin, and then all the rest are guys, okay? But I think all my uncles do such a great job at setting an example to their boys, because if you've dated a Vietnamese guy, North American, or like overseas, you might know that there's a bad rep when it comes to dating Vietnamese people because they're toxic and whatnot, especially the guys, just because of the culture, which is very unfortunate. But I've never ever witnessed that from my family because the guys help out. They're so sweet to their wives, and I'm glad that my cousins who are of a younger generation have such great role models to show them what respect towards women look like. And on top of that, they also see from their mothers what it looks like to have respect towards yourself as well, so they know what sort of partners to look for, which makes me so happy because I think there's an issue with the youth with unrealistic dating expectations and just like how they go about dating. If you've ever heard of some very alarming stuff from young women and men when it comes to certain dating things, it is very scary to hear. So being someone older, I have younger siblings 10 years younger than me, I do worry about that. But then again, I always tell myself I have nothing to worry about if I'm constantly talking to them and setting an example. But then again, you never know if they get into the wrong crowd or make the wrong type of friends or just decide to one day consume that sort of content, and it's just so easy to brainwash yourself. But all that to say, I am so glad that my male cousins and my female cousins are doing so well and they're thriving. My female cousin got married a couple years ago, so it was my first time meeting her husband as well, and they are just so funny together, and I'm just happy to see how happy she is. I have 2 younger cousins. The youngest ones are 14 and 12, okay? The 14-year-old was a little standoffish, and I get it because at that age, like, you just go through things and feelings that you don't know how to properly express or articulate. So he was a little standoffish to my boyfriend and I until a couple days later. My boyfriend would start like teasing him using Google Translate, being like, where's your girlfriend? Study hard, because it was exam period for him. So he'd be like, study hard. And then one day, my cousin decided to Uno reverse card on him and started using Google Translate to like banter back with him. And bantering is a big thing in Vietnamese culture as well. So it was so great to see my boyfriend banter with my little cousin and seeing them slowly develop a bond, because my little cousin is just so funny seeing him so like standoffish towards us to suddenly being my boyfriend's #1 fan. I think he loves my boyfriend more than me, to be honest. Like, my boyfriend kept teasing him, being like, oh, do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a girlfriend? And then they started playing this game. I think it's like Guess Who or something like that, where you're like does your character have glasses? Does your character have red hair, etc., right? My boyfriend asked him, does your character have a girlfriend? Like, you know, playing on to the already joke of egging him on about having a girlfriend. And then my little cousin's like, no, how would I know if my character has a girlfriend or not? And it's just so funny seeing him get flustered about stuff like that. And the littlest one, he's 12 years old. He's so sweet. My boyfriend was learning how to play a card game. It's called Big Two, I believe. And he learned from watching, right? So the littlest one wanted to play with him because the ongoing card party was already a party of 5 and it's only 5 players that could play. So the littlest one was like, can you play with me? And mind you, he's little, right? So he probably doesn't get the opportunity to play much because like adults want to play with adults. So my boyfriend decided to play with him and he was having so much fun. But my boyfriend started like at one point losing towards him, and then the little one goes on Google Translate and he's like, please don't give up on me. And he said that because he didn't want my boyfriend to give up and not play anymore, because that means he wouldn't get to play anymore. And I thought that was so funny. And then the littlest one, the 12-year-old, he also asked my boyfriend like, do you feel comfortable here? Do you like my dog? And I thought that was so sweet, you know, so sweet to ask my boyfriend if he felt comfortable there. So that really warmed my heart. Another touching moment for me, this might be like TMI to some of you guys, but the 14-year-old, him and I shared this really bonding moment. I showed him my armpit because it's been a while, okay? It's been a while since I've done it by the time I got to Vietnam. And he was so unfazed. He was like, oh, like told me to wait. He went to his mom's vanity, took a tweezer, and just started tweezing my armpit. And to me, that wasn't weird because growing up, it's very normal for mothers to have their children pluck their armpits, and like they'll pay you like $1 or $2 or something like that for doing it, kind of like a chore, right? So it's totally normal. And I thought it was much more sweeter, just the fact that he wasn't expecting me to pay him. In fact, anytime I offered to give him money for anything, he kept saying no. So the fact that he wanted to pluck my armpit hair just because he wanted to do that for me, I thought that was so sweet. Also probably because I'm an acts of service girl, so that just meant so much more to me, but it just felt so sweet for him to do that to me. And my boyfriend was in the washroom at the time, so when he came out of the washroom, he was like, what am I witnessing right now? And my little cousin was like, no, it's normal. And he told me to translate for him, and he's like, oh, tell him like it's normal. I did this for my mom growing up, and kids here, like they'll get paid for doing it from their moms. So yeah, I explained that to my boyfriend. He understood later on, but I think that was like a little bit of a culture shock for him. But yeah, those moments are some of the moments that bring a smile on my face. I hope they brought a smile on your face as well. Maybe it made you miss your family, so maybe it's a good opportunity to reach out, especially in a time where we have the internet in the palm of our hands. There's no excuse to not reach out to your loved ones, whether that means just like sending them a meme to let them know that you thought about them, or just simply saying, hey, I thought about you and I just wanted to let you know that, because you never know where life takes you. You never know what life gives and what life takes, and whenever you have that thought of someone, just take it as a prompt to act upon that thought. And those are some stories of my time in Vietnam. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to that. I hope you enjoyed this video as well. If you did, please give it a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers, so thank you guys so much who have been subscribing. I've noticed a little bump in the sub numbers. Thank you so much. I think this is around the point where a lot of you guys might be starting to hunt for Cresselia, so good luck on your hunt, and we will see what tomorrow's event Drowsy Power looks like with the correction. So can't wait to see that. So I wish you guys a good sleep, get that 100% Drowsy Power. I hope you make a lot of good progress. I hope you get a lot of crit meals. I hope all your psychic type Pokemon trigger their main skill, and I will see you guys in the next video tomorrow. So until then, take care, good luck, and have fun. Bye.